worship. He was the one that spoke first, thing it was. Anyway, in his thing that he was speaking about this thing. He's real big on this real tight relationship with God, hearing from God, and God, getting into this real close place with God. He's been in that place for quite some time. He said how he had shared about how he had this sports app he had for his phone, and he said, man, he just loves sports. He'd get on that app and he'd pull it up, and then God convicted him about it. He needed to get rid of that app, so he'd get rid of it, he'd take it off, and he'd put it back on. He'd went through this series. He'd take it off, put it back on.
Where did we see that?
Take it off and put it back on.
It was Joe.
Yes.
Joe shared it.
Joe Kaiser.
Yes.
He was sharing about that, and he says that thing had become an idol to me. And then when I realized what I've been getting from the Lord that morning was just right on top. You could lay it right on top of what he was speaking at that time. And what he'd been speaking to me as I sat there, and I tell you, I was really hesitant about bringing this out to anybody because I know the place where a lot of people are with this thing. But Lord's just laid out there. It wasn't for anybody in particular, but it hits a lot of people. He started talking to me about Facebook. He says, I want people to get their face into my book. I want people to get their face before my face. He says, what is Facebook? It's social media. It's man communicating with man. I want man to start communicating with me, spending time with me, being more me with me. This can be a convicting thing. There's a lot of good stuff in Facebook. It's not to put down the fact that Facebook is bad, but it doesn't take too much exploring to realize that there's a lot of people who put a tremendous amount of their time into Facebook. A lot of time it's just vainly spent time. So he had me looking for things with talking about spiritual talk or talking about vain talk. And he took me to Psalms 145:11. They shall speak of the glory of the kingdom and talk of thy great power. That's the kind of talk we should be speaking. Then down in Job 15:3, should he reason with unprofitable talk, or with speeches wherewith he can do no good? It's like, what's your speech doing? What's it doing? Is it creating something? Is it doing something that's valuable to even be bringing out and spending time with people with? Is it just this wasted thing you're doing all the time? And again, it hit right on top of what Joe brought about his sports app thing. Is it just this vain thing that you're into that's grabbing your attention? And he mentioned about being an idol. God had me in that idol thing so heavy. In fact, that night when I shared that about Angie, he wouldn't let me go with that thing. I shared about that thing about idol. He showed me that from Psalms 115. I'm going to share it real quick again. Psalms 115. And I had an awful time trying to find it. I was going, well, it's about this, it's about that. And I'm going to read it right to you. Psalms here. Psalms out of the book. Okay.
The word idols is in verse 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 days.
Their idols are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. They have mouths, but they speak not. Eyes have they, but they see not. They have ears, but they hear not. Noses have they, but they smell not. They have hands, but they handle not. Feet have they, but they walk not. Neither speak they through their throat. They that make them are like unto them, so is everyone that trusts in them. But when I read that last part, the ones that are making them, they are like unto them. They're creating these idols to be just like them. And the Lord, when I read that, the Lord took me in this heavy thing about the leaders in the churches today. Their idols are the actual congregations that they have. They become their idols. They are where they are giving all their attention is to the people. It's not even to God. It's to the people themselves. And they treasure those people so much. They're like Laban, whose daughter took and carried off his idols. They are so fearful that somebody's going to grab onto one of their idols and take it from them. Yes. They protect that thing. That is their God. It's not the God who they're supposed to be worshiping and teaching about. The people themselves become their very God. It becomes an idol to them. And then if you look at that, according to what this scripture says, so they're making those people even to be just like them. And here's how they create them to be just like them. When he spoke to me that thing, idol, he spoke the word idol, I-D-L-E. See, an idol is idle. It can't do anything.
Right.
Well, these pastors are creating very people under them to be just like an idol who is idle. Does nothing. Just as they are as the very leader, they're creating people to be just like them. Very idle and doing nothing. I mean, that was such a heavy thing when he dropped that. I was like, holy cow, Lord, that is big. That is so big.
Yes.
He just wouldn't let me get rid of that one. It's like, oh, I mean, it's a convicting thing. But again, it plays in line with this whole thing of the very idols of what we're giving our time to. Like Joe was saying, this Face app thing, or it can be the sports app thing. It can be Facebook. Like I said, there's good things about Facebook, but it can be a thing that actually grabs and takes you even farther away from God, because it becomes a thing of communication, man between man, and not man between God. I think I'm good.
Yes, but that's good. That's good.
It's like, holy cow, Lord, that's big.